Okay, so yeah, we have some layers here, but we wanted to add, like you said, a hydro or some water, like lakes and rivers and things. And maybe we can think of some other, well, we don't want to add too much more. I mean, those points are kind of crazy, but because we got a lot of them, right? And I don't think we got to label those. That could be a little nasty, but let's go with adding our water layer and whatever else you might come up with. So we're going to go to the national map again. If I can remember the website, apps.nationalmap.gov. That pops you right to it. Well, the browser remembered it, so I didn't have to remember too much. In fact, I just typed in TNM and it still did it, but it's apps.nationalmap.gov. The data set, so you have 3 tabs across the top, and you can search for stuff and just add it to your cart and download it later or whatever. We haven't done that, but that's okay.
Mine said software update available. Should we do that? Oh, wait.
For ArcGIS?
Yeah.
Nah. Well, yeah, it's best not to, because they break stuff more than they fix them sometimes. Yeah, anyway, yeah, let's hydrography, right? So we have the National Hydrography data set plus and some other stuff. So high resolution, right? And yeah, we can do file geodatabases, the only kind that they use, which is okay. So I'm going to zoom in on the state that I'm interested in, go pretty deep there, and it looks like it's by yeah, I'm going to uncheck the plus high resolution. For a state map, you probably don't need it anyway, and then I can check state instead of like sub-basin and sub-regions, which cover more than one state, right? So that allows me to get down to that level just by using that. And yeah, let's search the products and look for the New Mexico one. Yeah, it's more like the internet. It's real slow. Here we go. And yeah, where I gotta look for the right state, right? Oh, there's Utah, Colorado, Oklahoma, New Mexico. Yay! Let's download the zip, see if it works. The last time it didn't, but this stuff's pretty good. So there we go. I'll put it in my Chapter 3 folder.
So we go to the download manager from USGS?
Yeah. So once you do the search, right? So it automatically jumps you to the products tab, right? And then you can add it to the cart, or you can just click on download. Right? So I just did that. I just clicked on download. It ended up downloading it, and it's still downloading. Notice it uses the Amazon Web Service, web storage, I guess, the AWS. Isn't that what it stands for? The Amazon Web Service or web storage? I think it's web server. Anyway. There it is. So this is a geodatabase. So when I extract it may take a minute. That's what I like about Chrome. You can just click on that and show the folder, and then go to the folder to unzip it. Right? So just nice and simple. Maybe I'll pause the recording so you don't have to listen. Resume. Okay, so now that it's unzipped, I have this National Hydrography data set for New Mexico, and it's a GDB, or a geodatabase. So in my catalog window, I should be able to refresh and see it. Probably don't see it right here, but if I refresh, and I remember what it was named, there it is. So I'm going to expand it and take a look at the data in it, which there's a ton of stuff, but if you look at the icons for everything, it's not too bad. Most of it's tables and what do you call those things? Relates, basically a relationship class, which links like data, like metadata and stuff to the table, these tables to the actual hydrography, right? So we have this hydrography, and then we have the WBD, which is I don't remember, water database kind of stuff, or I don't remember. Anyway, the hydrography is what we want. And we have two kinds, well, we actually have three levels of data. We have points, right? Point events, points. We have water bodies, flow lines and NHD lines and line events, and area events. So I think we just want water body for now. And then if you want rivers and stuff, we can take a look at those. And I think it's just NHD line, which could be like a big, big file. Let's just try water body for now. Plop that in there and see what we get. And it might be useful to turn this other stuff off so we can see what's going on. So I'm going to turn off my roads and some of this other, yeah, that makes it a little clearer. Yeah, so I do see there's the reservoir there, and there's, you know, across the state. And it's already, because it's in a geodatabase, the symbology's been saved for you. So that's kind of neat too. Although I don't know why they're using colors like this. Lakes are pink, things like that. Although we have a green swamp marsh area and a blue reservoir. Let's just, I'm going to right click on this and just change its color to something that's much nicer to see. Yeah, they do have outlines. I guess that's okay. There you go. So not overwhelming or anything, but nice enough, I guess. Especially if this was a map like a PDF that you could zoom in on, right? Instead of just print. So a printed map might have a lot of different, we may make different judgments or decisions on how we wanted to show this as opposed to like a PDF file or something. So, okay, anyway, should we try the line, the NHD line? Okay, so yeah, waterfalls, that's kind of cool. You could do a thing for all the waterfalls. Anyway, these are very short line events like levees and waterfalls and dams and reefs and rapids and bridges and whatever. So maybe that's not what I want, so I'm going to take that out. Because that would be kind of tough to... How about a flow line? There's one of these that's just super big. Yeah, that's it. And it's still drawing. And it's mostly pink, which is stream and rivers. There are like coastline and all other values, but I don't know that there are any. However, there's obviously too many here to be showing. Maybe I just want to show stream and river, but that's most of it anyway. So that might not be a great idea. Yeah. There's some pipeline and stuff in there too. So it's already symbolized by F-type and everything. That's kind of cool, but maybe I want to get rid of some of, I don't think I want any of this actually, but maybe there's something in here that might work. So I'll look at the symbology. I'll go to symbology with that selected. And I don't think I need connector, so I'll just right click, not on the swatch or the symbol for it, but I can just on the label. It's going to redraw every time, so I'm just going to just ignore it. Canal and ditch, I definitely don't want that because there's just way too many of those. Underground conduit, there are some around here. Isn't there from, what is it, Cutter's Dam to all the way to Nappy? It's like 80 miles of an underground conduit.
Yeah.
That's a cool project. You'd hate to get caught in that.
Yeah.
That's like a nightmare for me. But pretty cool though. All right, I'm pretty sure I can get rid of coastline and artificial path. Maybe leave that. Still, I'm not getting rid of much, right? Pipelines, stream, rivers, and underground conduit. And it's still just humongous. And
all it gave me was water body only.
oh yeah. Let's pause. Zoom. Okay. So to summarize before we jump to the layout, right? I'm turning stuff off and just labeling and symbolizing so I can see things, you know, one at a time or whatever. So I got my water body. So to the basic idea here is to highlight what you want to work on first, right? Not what you want to work on first, but highlight first what you want to work on. Okay, so let's say I want to do roads, right? So I'm going to turn on the roads, turned off the water. Here are the roads, right? And I go to labeling. So when I say highlight the layer, that's click on the word next to the checkbox, right? Because there's other words in there, like this whole thing. Also, there's a little twirly arrow, I guess you want to call it that. If I twirled everything up, I can see the layers that I'm working on. You know what I mean? I think this is kind of confusing as well. So there, I've just collapsed everything, right? So nothing's expanded. This is what, and maybe you want to leave it like this for labeling because it kind of tells you what you're working on. So here's my road segments, right? So I highlight the road segments. That means that the word next to the checkbox is highlighted because you could fall into like clicking this. It still may do what you need. But anyway, I don't know. Anyway, so I highlight that, and then I make sure, you know, if I want to work on that query, I can click on the query, and it's going to show me what I had queried, right? So I'm only labeling the roads where, and it kind of says, it reads like a statement, where the column, the TNMFRC column, is equal to 1 dash controlled access highway, right? Or where it's equal to the secondary highway. So that or is, you might think of and, like, oh, I want to label this and this, right? But that's not what the query is doing. It's saying any feature, any road whose TNMFRC is equal to 1 controlled highway. But if you put an and in there, you're saying where it's equal to the controlled access highway and a secondary access highway, right? There aren't any, right? So it won't label any of it if you put an and in there. But an or says, I want to label these. Well, I want to label any feature that is equal to that, or it's equal to that.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
That's why I messed up.
Yeah.
I had two on the top and 2 on the bottom instead of 1.
Oh.
That's why I didn't label. I just did what I told it.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay. Nice. Okay. So yeah, I'm satisfied with how the roads are labeled, I guess. There was another thing I wanted to do. Where is that? Yeah, you can do like a shield. If you do a shield, and go to symbol. I'm not real sure, but you can put one of those highway symbols on it. That's what I was looking for. Where is that?
Right up at the top.
Uh,
The big ribbon there.
I don't, oh yeah. Maybe it is in here. There it is. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So here's what I would want to do. I have the controlled access highways and I have the other ones. So I would have to make 2 classes here to make that happen, right? So if I do like shield, right, then so I only wanted like I-25 and I-40 to have that shield, right? So perhaps it's not a great way to do it. So I would go to, let's see, class and actually the label placement and conflict, remove all duplicates, and that's a little better. Actually, I think that might have been all I needed. Removed all the duplicates. Yeah. Line connection. Minimize labels. Well, it is, but yeah, that is what I want to do. And so I guess that's doing a pretty good job, I guess, by doing that. All right. But to be able to do that, I didn't want to delve into this too much, but I might as well now. But you know, since I've already kind of jumped down the rabbit hole here. So I have class 1, which by SQL is both of these, right? So what if I just take out the 1, right? So now it only labels the I-25 and I-40, right? Sort of. But now I can add a class, right? So if I pull this down, I create a feature class, and I could call this secondary or something, right? And now I have a query for this. Click on that, where the TNMFRC is equal to the secondary highway. Okay. And with this class, now it's labeling them, but now I want to do the cool thing, like the state highway shield thing or whatever. Shield 7, I guess. And then it should put a shield on there, and then I'll have to adjust its conflict resolution here. This might be a little, okay. Yeah, that's great, but I want to put it on shield, so that's even better. And then I want to go to the conflict resolution here by clicking on that little properties, label placement properties button in the lower right corner of that part of the ribbon. And I don't remove all duplicates, so I want that. So that helps a lot. And then what was the other one? Line connection, and it's already on connect features, yeah, so minimize the labels. So that's about all I can do to make that work. And I think that's pretty good without doing too much more. So I'm going to leave it like that, even though it looks like some of those labels, it's like Coronado Highway. It's not, it doesn't fit in the shield or whatever. So I'm going to ignore that for now. Okay. And I already did the flow line, the water features, and I got the points sort of how I want them. And so I guess I'm okay. Actually, I don't think my points came out. You can make classes for these also. Like, oh yeah, we just did the highways, huh? I mean the hospitals, huh? Yeah, that's what we did. And there's way too many of those as well. So as far as class, yeah, it's only labeling the hospitals in this class. Which I'm kind of liking it. So there. So let's say I'm satisfied with all the labeling and all the symbology of all those layers, right? So we spent a fair amount of time doing that, and there's tons more you can do with it, but yeah, but it's not the purpose of this lesson anyway, so or this map. Although I think we did a fair job at most of it, so you guys satisfied with how it's looking so far? More or less? Okay. And there's certainly adjustments you might want to make. Anyway, so I want to go through the layout process again. We've done this once before, but we kind of want to go over it again, right? So I'm ready for my map to be printed. So I turn off almost everything, you know, even the counties maybe, but I don't think that's going to slow me down too much. So I'll leave the counties and the state boundary on so I can see what it is. And I'll turn everything off because it just takes too long to refresh and stuff. Okay, so I'm going to go to Insert Ribbon, right? And I'm going to insert a new layout. And depending on your state, right? If you're doing Tennessee, you might want landscape. But if you're going to do California or even New Mexico, maybe portrait would be better. Huh? So anyway, you pick your layout. And it gives you a blank piece of paper, which is there. And then still in the insert ribbon, I'm going to insert the map frame based on the current zoom level. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but that's where it is. And I'm going to place it. Now, I don't want to drag this thing out. I don't want to do this because it'll put the map in there, but it won't fit the paper, right? So I want the upper left corner. Well, it doesn't have to be the upper left corner, but I want to give it some margin in there so it doesn't not print, because the printer can't get to the edge of the paper unless you have a borderless printer. But even then, you probably don't want that for this particular case. Okay, so I've sized the frame itself to be within the paper edge, so that's nice. But maybe the state itself isn't quite right, like it isn't. And the zoom level here is whatever it is. So I'm going to right click on it and activate it. And this allows me to zoom in and out of the data itself, right? So I can pan and zoom. I can use my right mouse button to just zoom in the best I can. And
right click selected, or does that go outside the boundary?
So I to zoom.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I hold the right mouse button down,
Yeah.
I can just drag my mouse and zoom, right? Oh. And that does a smoother job than rolling your mouse wheel. The mouse wheel will, well, it gets you there pretty quick, but it does bigger steps than maybe you want when you're trying to fine tune it, right? Okay, and so I want the bottom, I want the top to be good enough for a title, and I want the bottom to be enough for like the scale and the north arrow and the name and date and all that kind of stuff. So I might want to put a little bit more room on the bottom for that kind of stuff. So. Okay, when I'm done, there's two ways you can click back on layout or just the back arrow, close activated map frame, or back to layout. Does the same thing. So there I am. It's positioned well. Now if I right click and drag or whatever, or pan, or actually that's moving, undo that. Middle mouse wheel moving and dragging my mouse and stuff. There we go. Okay, there's my layout. And I still don't want to turn all that stuff on yet. I just want to add the accoutrements, right? The marginalia, like north arrow and stuff. So let's just give it a north arrow. It's probably a good place for it. Maybe that's a little too big. I like a smaller north arrow, sort of. Big enough to see, though. Scale bar is fine. Maybe I like the step scales. Do that. Drag that over here. And I'm not too worried about those other counties around the edge. In fact, I could put a background. Maybe I'll just put that right here to cover it up, sort of. And let's zoom in here and see what we got. 120 miles, that's not great, but 100's pretty good. That's pretty good. And maybe too many divisions, right? You know, I don't care about 12.5-mile increments. So I'm going to right click and go to properties, and over on the panel here, yeah, I probably want the properties and divisions and subdivisions. Let's just go to 1 for each of these. Well, I don't know. And it may change your number a little bit like that. But here we go. 2 subdivisions, 1 division, right? So that gives me 0, 50, and 100, and just 1 step in there, and that's great. So yeah, what if I do 2 divisions and 2 subdivisions? Nah. 1 division, 1 subdivision. 2 subdivisions. Yeah, I guess that's whatever looks good. That looks fine to me. So, oh, and I think I want a background on this thing. So where's, yeah, there's some options there for that. Let's see, display, border. I just want background. Have just a white color, so it blocks out. And yeah, let's see what that looks like. See how that kind of blends in but still blocks out, so it's easy to read. Let's just cover up those counties. How about?
Can't you just get rid of all the counties around you?
Well, yeah. In the symbology, you could do a
Counties equal to Mexico?
yeah, you could do something like that. Yeah.
So I figured out why you don't do all at once. I just pass mine.
Yep. Sorry. Yep. Yeah. Save often, especially when you're laying out. So when you go to layout, just, you know, you're doing a lot of work here that would be lost if it crashed, right?
That's what happened.
Yeah. So hopefully you saved not too long ago. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. All right. So North Arrow scale. What about legend? This legend's going to be like monstrous. I don't even have a place for it. Maybe down here, I guess. The legend is for the points. I probably don't need the water. I mean, it's just water and the water bodies. Maybe, and even the roads. I don't really want to show those roads. I mean, it's kind of obvious that I have the interstates and some major roads, right? So I think I could leave those off. So just points really would be okay, I think. Yeah.
Okay, my map don't show up in the layout.
Oh, okay, okay. So yeah, let's pause that. So yeah, go ahead and get. So really, all that's left is your legend, which, you know, you decide what you want in the legend. Let the map do some of the work for you, right? But the points probably will need a legend. The rest of it, maybe not. Maybe you want it for the roads also, maybe. I don't have a lot of room, so I might not do that. And then a title and your a data citation, saying you got this from the national map, be fine. And that's pretty much it. And we'll export it out and turn it in. We'll go on to the next chapter on Thursday, or wait, Monday. Yeah.